Hello everyone, welcome to EAT Tech Talk. My name is Narala Siddhartha. My roll number is 20951A6744. My branch is Computer Science Engineering with Data Science as specialization. My subject is Web Application Development. Today my topic is exploration of React Native framework in designing a rule-based application for healthy lifestyle education. So let's start. Table of content. So I mainly divided the content into two parts. In the first part we are going to discuss about the React Native and its basics. In the second part we are going to discuss about the React Native framework in designing a rule based application and its advantages, disadvantages. So let's start the session. First one, React Native. The basic idea about the React Native. So React Native. So what is React Native? React Native is a JavaScript framework for writing real natively rendering mobile applications for iOS and Android. It's based on Facebook's JavaScript library for building user interfaces. But instead of targeting the browser, it targets mobile platforms. In other words, web developers can now write mobile applications that look and feel truly native, all from the comfort of a JavaScript library that we already know and love. Plus, because most of the code you write can be shared between platforms, React Native makes it easy to stimulate developer for both Android and iOS. Similar to React for the web development, React Native applications are written using a mixture of JavaScript and XML ECQ markup known as JSX. Then, under the hood, the React Native bridge invokes the native rendering APIs in Objective-C for iOS or Java for Android. Thus, your application will render using real mobile UI components, not web views, and will look and feel like any other mobile applications. React Native also exposes JavaScript interfaces for platform APIs, so your React Native apps can access platform features like the phone camera or the user location. React Native currently supports both iOS and Android and has the potential to expand to future platforms as well. You can really use React Native to build a production ready mobile applications. Some Dota, Facebook, Palantir and TaskRabbit are already using it in production for user facing applications. Advantages of React Native. The fact that React Native actually renders using its host platforms standard rendering API enables it to stand out from most existing methods of cross-platform application development like Cordova or Ionic. Existing methods of writing mobile applications using combinations of JavaScript, HTML, CSS typically render using web views. While this approach can work, it also comes with drawbacks, especially around performance. Additionally, they do not usually have access to the host platform's set of native UI elements, which when these platforms do try to mimic native UI elements, the results usually feel just as little off. Reverse engineering all the fine details of things like animations takes an enormous amount of effort and they can quickly become out of date. In contrast, React Native actually translates your markup to real native UI elements, leveraging existing means of rendering views on whatever platform you are working with. Additionally, React works separately from the main UI thread, so your application can maintain high performance without sacrificing capability. The update cycle in React Native is the same as in React. When props or state change, React Native re-renders the views. The major difference between React Native and React in the browser is that React Native does this by leveraging the UI libraries of its host platform rather than using HTML and CSS markup. For developers accustomed to working on the web with React, this means you can write mobile apps with the performance and look and feel of a native application while using familiar tools. React Native also represents an improvement over normal mobile development in two other areas: the developer experience and cross platform development potential. Developer experience: if you are ever developed for before, you might be surprised by how easy React Native is to work with. The React Native team has baked strong developer tools and meaningful error messages into the framework. So working with robust tools is a natural part of your development experience. For instance, because React Native is just JavaScript, you don't need to rebuild your application in order to see your changes reflected. Instead, you can hit Command R to refresh your application just as you would any other web page. All of these minutes spent waiting for your application to build can really add up, and in contrast, React Native's application quick iteration cycle feels like a godsend. Additionally, React Native lets you take advantage of intelligent debugging tools and error reporting. If you are comfortable with Chrome and Safari's developer tools, you will be happy to know that you can use them for mobile development as well. Likewise, you can use whatever text editor you prefer for JavaScript editing. React Native does not force you to work in Xcode to develop for iOS or Android Studio for Android development. Besides the day-to-day improvements to your development experience, React Native also has the potential to positively impact your product release cycle. For instance, Apple permits JavaScript based changes to an app's behavior to be loaded over the air with no additional review cycle necessary. All of these small perks add up to saving you and your fellow developers time and energy, allowing you to focus on the more interesting parts of your work and be more productive overall. Code reuse and knowledge sharing. Working with React Native can dramatically shrink the resources required to build mobile applications. Any developer who knows how to write React code can now target the web, iOS, and Android all with the same skill set. By removing the need to silo developers based on their target platform, React Native lets you team iterate more quickly and share knowledge and resources more effectively. Besides shared knowledge, much of your code can be shared too. Not all the code you write will be cross-platform. Depending on the what functionality you need on a specific platform, you may occasionally need to dip into Objective-C or Java. Risks and drawbacks: as with anything, using React Native is not without its downsides, and whether or not React Native is good fit for your team really depends on your individual situation. The largest risk is probably React Native's maturity. As the project is still relatively young, iOS support was realized in March 2015 and Android support was realized in September 2015. The documentation certainly has room for improvement and continues to evolve. Because React Native introduces another layer to your project, it can also make debugging especially hairier, and especially at the intersection of React and the host platform. Okay, second one is React Native framework in designing a rule-based application. For a long time, React Native was considered to be commercially unviable. It was not developed or supported enough to produce native-like apps. It's getting easier and easier to write brilliant apps using React Native, and the world is talking notice. Facebook built React Native first and foremost to create a fantastic mobile app for their own social portal. More likely than not, you have used it on your phone by way of the Facebook mobile app. Does it feel like a native app? Sure, it does. Popular React apps: Facebook, Instagram, Skype, Tesla, Walmart, Discord, uh, Bloomberg. One code base for two platforms. With React Native, you can create one code base that works on both Android and iOS. Use the language you already know. We are always using the JavaScript in React, so in React Native also will be using JavaScript. And here the graph of all the programming languages which are rapidly growing, and the JavaScript is taking the major part of this content. React Native is not 100% native. Despite what a Facebook might try to tell you, React Native apps are not equivalent to true native apps written entirely in Swift or OBJ-C or Java. Let's take the native Gmail as an example. The Gmail app includes a worker that checks your inbox. Your Gmail account is synced with the whole mobile system, not just the app. Gmail also knows if your mobile data not Wi-Fi. It should sync less often. One of our prospective clients recently argued against React Native, saying it's still not the same as a true native app. Thank you.